Hello, blessed viewers. With you here is Mr. Andrew Yusuf, and I'm going to be your tutor in today's class. So we're going to learn a topic on how to solve quadratic equation. Number one, by using the completing square method, and number two, by using the quadratic formula. So welcome to today's class. Welcome on board, my blessed viewers, and we're going to start with the first case, which is the completing square. So we're going to look at this first, then in the next part we're going to look on how to use the quadratic formula. So here we are considering the completing the square. So we're going to focus on this particular equation. We're having x squared plus 8x plus 9 equal to 0. And one thing that you need to know is that the quadratic expression are usually in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, in which a represents the coefficient of x squared, b represents the coefficient of x, and c is our constant. So in this particular case, the first thing that I want us to do is to take this particular figure that we have here, 9, and take it on the other side. So we're going to have an expression in this particular manner, x squared plus 8x equal to, here we're having positive 9. So on crossing, we're going to have a negative 9. Then here we are having x squared plus 8x. So in that, what you're supposed to do is to make this particular expression a perfect square, and by that we have to introduce a c and find the value of c. And in that particular case, we're going to consider the formula b over 2. Then if you square that, we're going to get a value of c. So let's say we want to make this particular expression that we have here a perfect square. And by that I mean we're supposed to have x squared plus 8x plus c equal to 0. So we have to find the value of c. And for us to get that, you're going to use the formula above here. So, as I had stated earlier here, that b represents the coefficient of x, and our coefficient of x here is 8. So we're going to have 8 over 2, then you square that, equal to our value of c. So let's consider we're having 8. So when you square 8, we're going to get 64 divided by 2 square, which will give us 4 equal to c. So when you divide 64 divided by 4 by 2, 1, by 2, 32, by 2, 2, by 2, 1, by 2, we get 16. So that means our value of c equal to 16. Now I want us to take this 16 and replace it here, and replace c with our value of c, so that we're going to have a perfect square. We're going to have x squared plus 8x plus 16 equal to, but remember here we are taking 9 on this other side, and so we're having negative 9. So here we're going to have negative 9. Here is plus 16 on crossing. So here we're having plus 16. So we're also going to add the 16 on the other side. So it's a plus 16. I want us to find the root of this. So we're having sum and product. Our sum represents the coefficient of x, and by that we're having our value here as 8. And p, which is the product actually, is the value of constant c, which is 16. So we need two numbers that when you add you get 8, and when you multiply you get 16. And when you multiply you get 16. So by that we're going to have two numbers, 4 and 4. So that when you add the two numbers, 4 plus 4, you get 8, and when you multiply the two you get 16. So in that particular case, we're going to have x squared plus, let's replace this first because this our sum. When you add the two we get 8. So let me start with 4, 4x plus 4x, then plus 16. Then I want us to collect the like terms such that in this first part, let us factor out x, so that we're going to have x into x plus 4. And in this particular set, we're going to have a plus 4 into x plus 4. Then we pick the first x plus 4 and we pick one of the two. So we're going to have x plus 4, and in the second part, x plus 4. So generally, we've made the equation that we had in this particular case a perfect square, and we want to use this one now to come and find the value of x. So what we are to do next, okay, since already we've come up with a perfect square, which is x plus 4, and initially we add negative 9 plus 16. So in this particular case, I want to make this to simplify it, or say that we just have x plus 4 square equal to negative 9 plus 16, and that will give us a positive 7. So the next step is for us to eliminate the square sign, and that means we're going to find the root of the side and also root on the other side. The root goes with the square, and we're going to have x plus 4 equal to root of 7. And so here we're going to have, remember, we're interested in finding the value of x. So in that particular case, we just need to have x, or to make x as the subject of the formula. And that means we're going to have x equal to, taking 4 on the other side, and it's positive 4, so on crossing it will be negative 4. So we're going to have root of 7 minus 4. So our value of x becomes root of 7 minus 4, or maybe you can go further and have it as, a root of 7. That will give us 2.65, then minus 4. So we're having 2.65 minus 4, and that will give us a negative 1.35. So basically that's how to solve the quadratic formula using the completing square method. Step number 1 is to make the given expression to be a perfect square, and from there on it becomes very much easier to solve it. In this next part, I want us to consider now solving the initial question that we had, and that was x plus 8x plus 9 equal to 0. So I want us to solve this one now using the quadratic formula. So I want us to solve it using the quadratic formula, and we all know that using the quadratic formula, or let me write the formula, we're having x being equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac. So this is in bracket divided by 2a. So there we have our quadratic formula, and we want to use it to solve our quadratic equation. So let's say we all know that our quadratic equation is usually in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a is the coefficient of x square. So here our equation was x square plus 8x plus 9. So a represents the coefficient of x square, b represents the coefficient of x, and c is our constant. So in that particular case, our a equal to 1, b equal to 8, and that's a positive 8, and our c equal to positive 9. And we want to use this particular formula to solve our equation. So let's go down. We're going to have a negative b. So we're going to have a negative b, and our b is a positive 8, a negative b, then plus or minus root of we're having b square. B square, we're having 8 square. Then minus 4 times a, in which our a is 1, times c, in which our c is 9. Then we find the root, then divided by 2 times a, in which our a is 1. So we're going to have negative 8 plus or minus root of 8 square, we're having 64, minus, so it's 64 minus 4, minus 4 times 1 times 9, so we're going to have minus 36, minus 36, so, and divided by 2, because 2 times 1, we just get 2. So let's see, here we're going to have negative 8 plus or minus the root of 64 minus 36, and that will give us a 28 divided by 2. So we're having 28. Yeah, then the next thing is for us to get the square root of 28. So we're going to have, our x will be negative 8 plus or minus the root of 28, and that one will give us 5.29, then divided by 2. So we're having negative 8, plus 5.29, and that will give us a negative, and that one will give us a negative 2.71, then divided by 2, and negative, so here we're having negative 2.71 divided by 2, and the answer we're going to get will give us a negative 1.355. So as we compare that with the first answer that we got our first answer as, we can confirm it here. So we got our first answer as negative 1.35. So generally that's how to solve the quadratic equation using the two methods. And the methods that we've learned, the first one is the completing square method, and the second method that we've used is using the quadratic method. So thank you so much for following up to this point. Thank you so much for following up to the end. So basically that's how to solve quadratic equation using number 1, the completing square method, and number 2, using the quadratic formula. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe and share.